All right, good morning, you motherfucking sunshines. Back on the trail, man. Shit. Well, as you can see, we have a winter wonderland going on out here today at the YMCA of the Rockies. I was going to get out earlier this morning before this harsh sunlight came out, but I looked at my phone and it was -17 with the wind chill. And I said, fuck that noise. I rolled over, went back to sleep. So now it's a little later in the morning and the sun is out and we got some harsh shadows. But it is at least a balmy 9 degrees right now. With the wind chill, it's probably still below 0. But as long as we keep moving, we should stay warm. Usually when I'm out here photographing, I got my wildlife lens and I'm sitting on my ass next to a tree for hours on end. And that's you can only do that for so long before your fingers and toes go numb. So we'll keep moving and we'll stay somewhat warm. Today I'm shooting with my 20mm 1.8. I rarely, if any, use this lens for landscapes. I bought this lens for I guess I did use it for landscapes, for astrophotography. That's why I bought it, and that's all I've used this lens for. I've never used it for general landscapes. So I tend to stay away from prime lenses when I'm shooting landscapes, only because zooms are more versatile. With a prime lens, you're zooming with your feet because you got a fixed focal length. So which is probably a good thing today. It'll force me to keep moving and stay warm. So it is a very sharp lens, and it's good to practice with all the lenses in all conditions. So that's how you get better. You can't force Mother Nature to do what you want. So you're dealt with the conditions that she delivers, and you got to be able to, especially on a through hike, you're forced to photograph what you can get day to day. So this is a good exercise for me to get out and get better at with the lens that I don't use very often, and see what we can get. Should even with the harsh shadows, we should be able to get some decent photos with the sun. Of course, when I come, this is the one time I come out here without my wildlife lens. This is when I'll see all the critters. Generally what happens. So it's beautiful out here though, man. Absolutely beautiful. The wind has somewhat died down since this morning, and when there's this much snow on the ground, it dampens the sound and it gets extremely quiet, which I absolutely love. It's going to be hard to use my controls today with gloves on, but we'll make do with what we got. So I sure as hell ain't taking my gloves off for a photo. Tell those mofos up on Everest to lose their fingers because they want to get a selfie. 3 seconds without gloves on up at that elevation. You're gonna be wiping your ass with a nub because you just lost all your fingers. So I'm not going to get into too much on settings. There's plenty of photography tutorials out there on YouTube, and that's how I learn photography, other than just practicing it myself and learning from my own failures. But generally speaking, when I'm shooting landscapes, I try to keep my aperture. It depends on what you're shooting. If you want everything in focus, you want a higher aperture. So I shoot for around in between f8 and f11. If I'm going for that blurry background, this lens goes up to 1.8. If you really want to blow out the background and isolate your subject. So that's when I'll drop the aperture down. And when you're shooting handheld like this, your shutter speed should be, the general rule of thumb, 1 over your focal length. So this being a 20mm, I try to shoot handheld at least 1/20th of a second, if not more than that, because the slower the shutter speed, the more chance you have of getting a blurry image. When you're on a tripod, it doesn't really make a difference, which I do have my tripod today. So if I can get some running water down here by this creek, if it's not all frozen over, I'll show you how I do those long exposure water shots. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Well, I didn't expect drifts this fucking deep up past my shins. Ay, 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 ay. All right, so Moraine Park. We're crossing over Moraine Bridge here, and then we will officially be in Rocky Mountain State Park. I've been down here once after a storm like this, and as you can see, all these stones out here on the creek all have a fresh blanket of snow on them, and it's absolutely beautiful. So let's see if I can get a decent photo. I don't even know where the river starts and the creek ends is the problem. And I don't want to risk getting wet. So, as you see, I'm shooting directly into the sun, which never is a really good thing, unless you want to get those nice sunbursts. And the way to do that is get your f-stop. F16 is a good one to start. And you kind of just move your camera out in the sun till you see those star bursts, and take a shot. F16 usually seems to be the right aperture for getting those sunburst shots. Oh my God, it's beautiful out here today. Absolutely beautiful. Damn shadow, man. Let's move up a little bit. That's too bright. I'll lower my ISO back to 100. I'm gonna raise my shutter speed. Try to get my fucking shadow out of the photo. Oh man. Wow, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Wish I had a more interesting sky though. That's kind of dull. Straight up blue. I need some clouds in my life, man. This is the problem with the 20 mil. If I could zoom in. So one thing I look for when I'm shooting, get this camera up, my beard is in the way. One thing I look for to make a scene that's not so interesting more interesting is to shoot through things. So as you see, this scene's pretty dull at the moment. You got one branch right here and one come over here. Now if I was to able to zoom in and get a little closer, you kind of frame that river with those two branches, and suddenly a mundane photo becomes a little bit more interesting. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. All right, so now we are officially in Rocky Mountain National Park. I'll probably get fined for filming. These national park rules are getting real fucking stupid. Gotta get a little lower on this. Hopefully this is solid. Get a shot here with the bridge. Oh, that's pretty. That is beautiful. This is the one good thing I would say about living up here in the winter time is there's not a lot of tourists out here. When I come out here in Rocky Mountain National Park, at least in this side of the park, on the east side, I rarely see people. You see cars driving through the road, but out on the trails, you don't see anybody. So you basically have a whole national park to yourself, which is the way I feel sometimes when I'm out here. Just you and nature. As hippie as that fucking sounds, it is 100% true. This is why I'm willing to come out in conditions like this, because you got a little piece of this beautiful country all to yourself for a while. So Glacier Creek is wrapped all the way around here. This is all frozen right here. And I think this is a nice little deep pool. If I remember correctly, when I was here in October, I'm gonna come down here in the springtime with my fly rod, my 10 car rod, and fish this right here. I think I'll be able to get some nice trout out of this spot right here. Let's see if I can get a cliche footprint shot on this bridge here. I'm gonna raise my, there we go. Good idea too when you're shooting. You see on the back of my screen, the display, I have my what the fuck you call it, histogram up there, so you can see if you're blowing out your highlights or your shadows right on screen. It's not always, sometimes your camera plays tricks on you and it'll lie to you, but it's a good way to gauge where your exposure's at. You can do amazing things with editing these days in Lightroom, but the better you get the exposure in camera, the less work you have to do on that photo to make it look decent. All right, so Moraine Park, Bear Lake Road. Take this trail, it'll take you to Moraine Park. We would actually walk over there. It's a big ass field, and that's where hundreds and hundreds of elk come during the rut around here. I got here a little late. The rut was ending up just finishing up, so I didn't get to see him out here, but that's where they go, I guess. I filmed a couple coyotes running across that field since I've been here. I haven't really gone up here. There's a cabin up there. I think that's all private property once you get up that way, but this is all public national park. Going this way. We'll see how far we can make it. There's a beautiful little creek. I think it's still Glacier Creek running alongside Moraine Park there. It's absolutely beautiful. I've seen an eagle over there too, so I might get lucky. Even though with this lens I won't be able to get a photo of them. When I come over here, all this cliff edge right here, see all these rocks and stuff? There's little caves and stuff and whatnot in here. I'm convinced there's a fox den or a coyote den up there somewhere. I've never actually hooked it up. I put my binoculars on some of those caves to see if I can see any signs of dens, because I would like to, when these fox and coyote out here start having pups and litters, I like to be able to get a shot of their little ones. If I can find a den. Holy shit, this snow is deep. Looks like there's some traffic through here. It's hard to tell if it was just wind drifts or, but I've seen deer tracks all through here. There's got to be an old deer track from a couple days ago. Oh my god. Talk about crushed deep snow, mine. Oh. I hate seeing this shit when people carve their names in the trees. Why would you do that? Because people are idiots. If you're gonna find anybody, find assholes that are leaving trash out or defacing trees and plants and harassing wildlife. Those are the people that need to be kicked out of these parks, not people that are out here filming, trying to show people the beauty of national parks. My humble opinion. What's going on, my camera? This is my old A7 III. I think well, the screen keeps going between the viewfinder and the LCD. I think my viewfinder is dirty is why. Thinks there's dirt in there. Well, thinks my eye's up there because there's dirt. Sometimes what looks good in your eyes for a photo is not actually a good photo. Yeah, I was hoping there'd be some running water up here, but it is all frozen over. Might have to hook back. Oh, my feet are getting frozen anyway. I might just take this road back. Make my life a little bit easier. I'll be able to spot some wildlife. Whoa. Well, that was the first fall of the day. Oh. I'm surprised it took me that long to fall. But you save the camera. That's why you always see those war movies. You guys falling in the water, they always got their rifles above their head, because that's your life. You don't want to let that rifle get wet. Well, that's how I feel about my camera. I will go face plants in the snow if it means my camera will stay dry. All right, so just walked down that road maybe half a mile. Just made it one big ass loop, and this brings me down to Tuxedo Bridge here. It brings me back over to the YMCA campus. There's a good fishing hole down here too. I want to try in the spring with my 10-car rod. Water's still flowing a little bit down here, it looks like. You'll see tracks right along this bridge all the time in the snow. Down here, a river, obviously the animals come down here to get water, but they just use the trail like everybody else does, because it's just easier walking. Animals aren't stupid. You don't have to get way off the beaten path to get some good, or to find out where the animals are at. A lot of times they just use the same trails as the humans. That's too bright. That's too bright, man. Blowing on my highlights. That's that damn sun shooting into the sunlight. See a lot of birds on these little trees too. If you're not sure where the animals are at, good place to start is find yourself some running water, or even standing water for that matter, because animals need water just like humans. So if you don't see any game trails, just go sit by a water source. You might get lucky. I'm gonna go check out this watering hole over here. I'm guessing it's all frozen over, but I'll at least show you. I swear there's gotta be some trout in this little hole over here. Well, yeah, you see right here just the outline of the water. This is a nice watering hole, and it rushes down here, creates little waterfalls over here. Perfect for trout, because what a trout will do is, if you got like a little waterfall and a nice clear pool on the edge of that water will be rushing all the good nutrients and fish food down along those rapids, and the trout will hang out right there at the bottom, and that's where you can get them. All right, well, let's see if we can get a shot in here. I do like how the sun's kind of shining through these trees here. Oh, the snow. Let's see if I can get the sun. Oh, that might look cool. I gotta bring my ISO up just a hair. I like all that haze coming down through the trees there. Let's see if I can get another sun star with that sun there. I'll bring it back up to f16. Damn watch keeps beeping at me. I got one of those Apple Watches, try to get myself back in shape this winter. It's good for measuring my heart rate and shit when I'm doing jump roping and running on the track up here. But I don't like when it beeps at me telling me, well, it appears that you're working out. Would you like to track it? No, bitch, I would not like to track it. I'm trying to enjoy this goddamn beautiful nature. You keep disrupting that. I spotted something. I gotta take a photo of it, or else I'm gonna hate myself. It just looks cool. It's not every day you see a cowboy boot hanging from a fence post. Let's move. Let's go. I'll blur out this background, isolate that boot here. Let's see what we got here. Bring it up a little bit. All right, back on the YMC campus. There's a bunch of muleys sitting right here. Yeah, you probably won't be able to see them on the GoPro. There's 2 bucks right there, 3 does, and there's a couple over here too. They just hang out here on the property. It's quite nice. They're getting so used to people, they didn't care about us. I don't think they'll come up on my 20 mil. And I ain't gonna try to get close enough to scare them. They're just chilling, relaxing in the snow. Hope you guys stayed warm last night, man. It was cold. It was cold. You gotta bundle up, man. All right, big gulps, huh? We'll see you later. All right, boys and girls, we're gonna call that a day. My feet are frozen, but the conditions weren't that great today, but it was still beautiful with the snow. And I got to get outside and clear my head a little bit, and that's the most important thing. Getting good photos is secondary to being outside and enjoying Mother Nature. So hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go inside, get warm, get some lunch. I'll holler at you fuckers later, man.